My grandfather would not let anyone dig in the back garden. He left me the house and a map of it. Grandpa died on a Tuesday, and by Friday the lawyer had handed me an envelope with my name on it in shaking handwriting. Inside was a deed to the old house on Merrill Lane and a folded square of paper, yellow with age. I unfolded it at the kitchen table. It was a hand-drawn map of the back garden. There were the rose beds, the crooked shed, the stone wall, and near the far corner, under the apple tree, someone had drawn a small black X. My mother leaned over my shoulder and went very still. "Throw that away," she said. "You know how he was." I did know how he was. My whole childhood, Grandpa had one rule that never bent. Nobody digs in the back garden. Not for a pond, not for a vegetable patch, not to bury the dog when it died. He buried the dog himself at night out front. When I was 9 and stuck a trowel into the soil near the apple tree, he grabbed my wrist so hard I dropped it. "You leave that alone," he said, and his voice cracked like I'd never heard. He was crying, a grown man crying over a garden. I moved into the house a week after the funeral. The first night I spread the map on the floor and stared at that X until my eyes hurt. Around it, in tiny letters, he'd written, "I'm sorry. Forgive me. For 30 years I couldn't." I called my mother. "Do you know what's buried under the apple tree?" The line went quiet. Then she said, "Leave it, please. Some things should stay in the ground. You know something. I know your grandfather was a good man. Then why does the map say he's sorry?" She hung up. I couldn't sleep. At 6 a.m., I went out with a spade while the grass was still wet. The apple tree threw a long shadow across the corner, and the ground under it was different, sunken just slightly, like something beneath had settled over the years. I started digging. 2 feet down, the spade hit something soft. I got on my knees and cleared the dirt with my hands. Fabric, rotted gray fabric, and under it the curve of bone. I fell backward. A skeleton, a human skeleton, curled on its side like it was sleeping. I called the police. They cordoned the garden, put up a tent, brought in people in white suits. A detective named Holleran sat me down in my own kitchen and asked how long my grandfather had owned the house. 50 years, I said. He never let anyone dig back there. My whole life. Holleran wrote that down. Then he asked if the name Eleanor Voss meant anything to me. It didn't. She went missing from this street in 1974, he said. She was your grandfather's neighbor. The case was never solved. My stomach dropped. You think I don't think anything yet. 2 days later, Halloran came back, and this time he set a plastic evidence bag on the table. Inside was a locket tarnished black that they'd found in the grave, and a second thing, a folded laminated card, the kind a badge slides into. "We found this on the remains," he said. "Your grandfather didn't kill Eleanor Voss. Then who's buried in my garden?" He slid the card toward me. Through the plastic I could read it. A name, a photo, faded but clear, a hard-faced man with a thin mustache, and the word police across the top. His name was Detective Raymond Voss, Halloran said. Eleanor's husband. He worked this precinct in the 70s. He was investigated 4 times for the disappearances of women on this street. 4 times he walked, because he was a cop and the cop who covered for him was his partner. He tapped. Everyone knew Raymond did it. Nobody could touch him. I stared at the mustache in the photo. So how did he end up in my grandfather's garden? Halloran opened a second bag. Inside was a letter, brittle, the ink brown, Grandpa's handwriting. "We found it sealed in a jar beside the body," he said. "Read it." I read it. Eleanor was my sister. The police let him kill her and laugh about it. So I invited him to dinner, and I waited until he set down his coffee, and I did what the law wouldn't. I buried him where nothing grows, and I planted an apple tree so something good would. I never dug there again because I could not bear to see his face. If you're reading this, I'm gone, and now you know. He was the monster. I only stopped him. I set the letter down. Halloran was watching me carefully. "For 50 years, he said quietly, your grandfather guarded that garden so no one would ever move the body of the man who murdered his sister and got away with it. He picked up the bag with a badge. The department's reopening every case Raymond Voss ever touched. Turns out the reason none of them were solved is buried under your apple tree."